Welcome to what we hope to be our last eLumen training, hopefully ever. So I want to get a sense of what people need in the room here. We see a lot of part-time faculty in the session. And just so you know, part-time faculty don't have access to the curriculum system. So you can't actually do any work in eLumen. So I'm wondering, what you would like out of the session. I can show you. I mean, you're welcome, obviously, to stay and learn what we do, but you actually can't get in and do any curriculum work. You can just view the public page. Does anybody want to go ahead and just unmute and say, what your goals were?
I have a question.
Sure.
If we want to start a class, because our dean from our department is always welcoming new classes, would this be good to learn how to start a new class, how to do the curriculum, or no?
Yes, we can do that. Okay. And you're full-time faculty.
I'm part-time. I'm Edward Krause.
Oh, Edward, hi.
Yes.
No, you won't be able to do that as part-time.
Okay.
Your full-time counterpart can modify or create new curriculum.
Okay.
So that's why I was wondering, we saw a lot of part-time sign up. What maybe you were thinking to get out of this, or what you want to get out of this, or maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be. Anybody else?
I was under the impression, as Edward just mentioned, that our chairs are always welcoming and getting us, getting new information and getting the steps on how to even get started. But if we won't have access to it, then it kind of limits everything. So we can't even share with what we have learned with the rest of the colleagues. Okay.
Correct. Yes. So perhaps we need to do a better job of getting out the information to the campus that only full-time faculty have rights in the curriculum software.
Yes, that would be very, very good information to share out, because we were under the impression that this is just how do you get started if you want to create something, and what are the steps, but nothing was mentioned about having access to certain platforms. But thank you for the information.
Okay. So feel free to stick around as long as you want. I can show you where the public site is and where you can view curriculum. And then if you find that it's not helpful anymore, go ahead and you can go ahead and leave. And I know there's other very good competing presentations right now at these next couple hours. So just, and pipe in whenever. You can, we have, how many people do we have in here? 28? Yeah. You can raise your hand. You can also unmute and interrupt me. I'm okay with that, but I'll probably, Kelly and Eileen are here, and they can probably help monitor chat for me and hand raising. So the other thing I know is we've got some people in the room that need to submit for their, what we now call 4-year curriculum review, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We got, I see, Crim, history.
AJ.
EMLS.
EMLS. Are they 4-year this time, Kelly?
I'm up as well. Charles
No.
C.
CTC all is.
Yeah.
CTC, okay. EMLS.
No.
Oh, but if you want to modify or add any curriculum in this spring, right, you need to get it in this term.
And deletions too, right?
Well, deletions are actually kind of easy with eLumen right now. You just need to send an email to Kelly. You can do it to our whole team. It's better, Kelly, Nylene, and myself. Oh, by the way, I'm not afraid to, I assume everybody knows who we are. I'm curriculum chair, econ and structure economics, the curriculum chair. And then we got Kelly O'Rourke, our curriculum analyst, and Nylene's around and she's our curriculum assistant. So it's always good to email the three of us so we all are in the loop or can answer you promptly. So for deleting a course, you just need to email us and ask for the deletion. There's no way to do it through eLumen officially. Like I said, this should be our last training, I hope, on eLumen. We're moving back to CurricuNet, to the new CurricuNet, and plan to have that up and running by late spring for at least people who are coming through it, need to come through in the fall. Maybe trainings over the summer, but definitely up and running by fall 21. So that's another thing. If you want to learn the curriculum system, you don't have any curriculum this term, the process will be very similar in CurricuNet, but the system will look a lot better, a lot different. Okay, so where do we need to start? I know a lot of you have been through enough of this before. You kind of know how to get started. Do you want me to start at the beginning? I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, sure, that sounds fine.
You think the beginning? Let me go
If
here.
you
I
could
gotta
do,
search.
Diane, maybe a sample of what it would look like from start to finish on a COR for those of us that are doing the curriculum review.
Right, yeah. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see that? Faculty and staff website?
Yep.
Okay, so for those who cannot access the system, which would be the part-time, classified administrators, right? Who can't get into the production site, which is where we create and modify curriculum. There's the public site, and anybody can see the public site. So you can, I'll click in there for a minute. Let's move. And no login needed. So we'll go to AJ. So the programs are up here, and you can just click on one and view the program outline of record to see what the program looks like. And then and there's lots of courses. All the courses are here, and you can click on, a course. And again, go
Ours
up.
will be under criminology.
Oh, okay, well,
Oh yeah, it's the ADT is still called the Administration of Justice, but all
right,
of it is under crim, yeah.
yeah. Well, I just picked something in the A's. You're right. And you can see the course outline of record, the official version. So this is helpful for all faculty, and including part-time, since this is the only view you have, to see what, the assignments, the expected methods of instruction, methods of evaluation is grading, and objectives, SLOs, and then the outline, the content that needs to be covered. So that's the public site. The production site is where you go to actually make changes to curriculum. And I already have it open. It'll ask you for your login. Well, keep it on. Okay, so I don't know if some of you are doing, you might have to have another computer, or doing it on the side with me. Let me show you.
I think there's a link to it in the portal as well, which is kind of nice.
Yes, you can go through the portal too, yeah. I already opened up, I'm just gonna find it. A couple documents I have on the Curriculum Committee SharePoint site under Documents and Resources, under eLumen Training Documents. Let's start with this one. Getting started. You want to use Chrome as your browser. I just said I click on the eLumen production from staff faculty page. Continue to log into the portal. So there's many roles you can have in the system. everybody has a faculty role. And that's the role you're going to use to modify or create new curriculum, is faculty. You can ignore department curriculum faculty. It's an old role that has been replaced by faculty, but it's still live and it does the same thing as faculty, but we would prefer if you could use faculty. And then department faculty is the role you're going to use to review curriculum in your department. Not edit, but review. So we're all going to be faculty and department faculty. Department chair if you're a chair, and if you're a curriculum rep on the curriculum committee, you also have that role. So, and here's some helpful hints about the 3 different places you can find curriculum. So I'll go back into Illumin and show you that. So going back into Illumin. So when you log in, see, I have lots of roles. So I'm using a faculty role right now to show you. It's going to give you the discipline that you're faculty in. And then I'm going to go to curriculum. Okay. I'm in the dashboard right now.
I just have a question here.
Sure, yeah.
So this is for full-time teachers, but the part-time teachers can't access this, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Well, I'm a part-time teacher, so I can't access this, but I did see I saw an older version of it. I'm just wondering if there's any updates that have occurred to it since then. Does it look any different?
What are you talking about, a course? What? An older version of what?
Yeah, wasn't there a live update in 2018?
Of what? The system of Illumin?
Yeah, exactly, of Illumin.
I'm not, Kelly, can you help? I'm not sure what we're talking, what you're looking at. So are you on right now? Are you in the public site? Because you're probably not where I'm at, right?
I'm just on the public site right now.
Okay. I'm not sure what we need to look at for you. What course are we looking for program?
I'm an ASL instructor,
Oh, okay.
so it's American Sign Language.
So on the public site, those are the most up-to-date outlines. Course outlines.
Okay, perfect then. Okay, great. That
Yeah.
answers my question.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, they should be the most up-to-date. So there's a dashboard and a library here, and the library is also the most up-to-date. If you're in the production site, the library is also the most up-to-date curriculum for the whole school. The dashboard is where you're going to see curriculum from either yourself or your department will show up on a dashboard once a workflow has been initiated. So to go through what to do for, like a 4-year review, remember your 4-year reviews, every single course needs to be revised or go through the process, even if there isn't much to revise, you need to go through this process. Every single course and every single degree or certificate also needs to be opened up and revised and go through this process. You're going to go to the library to find your courses to start this process. So you have faculty, you use faculty, you're in your discipline, you go to curriculum, and then you're going to go to the library. And
So I just have a question here. So this training really is only applicable to full-time staff
Yes.
members, right? I'm part-time, so this is not really going to benefit me much, will it?
Well, that's what I was trying to say at the beginning. That's why I was trying to see what the part-time wanted to get out of this. Correct. You will not be able to do this work in the system.
Okay, thank you very, very much. I guess I'm in the wrong place then. Thanks anyways. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. Yes. You all are very welcome to stay and see what we do and kind of learn about the course outliner record. That's perfectly okay. I just want to make sure we're clear. Yeah, you won't be able to do this work as a part-time or classified.
Okay, thank
All right,
you so
any
much.
other
Anyway.
questions? Okay. Thanks. So you need to find your courses. I'm going to go, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can play around. You can find it by department, select none. Go, I have to use econ, go to economics. You can do it that way. You could type, I could have typed ECON in there. You can type your code and they will come up. I'll pick a course to revise. So it depends how many courses you have, but every single course has to go through this process for your 4-year reviews. So I'll do 40. When you click on it, it gives you these options. Okay, I'm going to do new revision. And then you have to click on this gray box that says course revision. And it pulls up what's called a workflow. Workflows used 2 different ways in this system, which is confusing. So workflow implies your course that you are revising or creating, but we also have a workflow once you launch it to all the steps that this curriculum goes through before it gets to the committee. So I'll go through that later. Okay, so there's a couple ways to view these course outliner records. This is in a kind of a tab format where the cover info is on this tab, and then you would move over to the course development options and units. We really find it easier to look at this in what kind of a long outline view. So everything's on the same page. So to do that quickly, sorry, I'm having trouble because I don't see everything because I got all these toolbars in the way. Save as draft right away. And you always want to save as draft throughout this whole process until you're ready to submit. And then if you go to your inbox, so there's kind of 3 ways to view curriculum. There's the library where we start the process. And then once you start a workflow, you're going to find these in your inbox and dashboard. If you go into the inbox, once you save as a draft, it should be in here, right here. Econ 40 is what I launched right now. Continue workflow. What we were looking at, so what they call a step view, the outline view is a lot easier to work with, I think. And then you have the entire workflow or course outliner record in one scroll. And you don't have to remember what step these things were. Are there any questions so far?
And you can continue to edit from that page that you're on.
Oh, yeah. So as faculty, you can always edit, especially in this stage, which is stage 1, the create stage. So at the top, it's already, if this is an existing course. Now, if you're doing a new course, you're basically filling in most of these fields. But let's talk about an existing course. This is already set for you. If you want to modify your description, you would do it here. And it's, pretty much standard word function. You open it up, you can type in there. Master discipline is what, qualifications, minimum quals can teach the course. So that's already there for you. You can add more than one on the same line if you need to. So starting term, for all the 4-year reviews, it should be a year out. So that would be, what are we, spring 21? I actually was working on some classes today. I was putting fall 21 on all the information. Go back, like, I don't know what semester we're in. So we would put spring 22 for all the 4-year. And pretty much all the curriculum, we try to do it a year out. There are some exceptions. If it's 4-year, you can click mandatory revision. I think you can click more than one, but definitely, it's definitely mandatory revision for a 4-year. But I think you can click, yeah, you can. We do like something, well, it's a high, these red boxes, these orangey boxes, those are required fields. We do like something in here to help the committee know, what was edited, like updated textbooks, change, revise objectives. I don't know. If you can remember to put you have to put something in there that helps us to kind of focus on what was changed.
Can we put 4-year review just to, because then I think on the 4-year review, you normally would bring up the course comparison or the, to see what changed and what, is that?
No,
good?
I tend on a 4-year review to bring up the whole course outline of record in committee, because, so that's an interesting point to make. In a 4-year review, the committee is to review the entire course outline of record. If you're just coming through and it's not your 4-year review and you're making some revisions to your course or your program, we do not need to look at or comment on the rest of the course outline of record. We only need to look at the changes you're making. So that's where this is really important on the notes. If it's not a 4-year review and you're just coming through to add some objectives or content or DE, if you put that in there, and then I would use, you're right, Kevin, I would use the course compare, especially now that it's been improved, the course compare form when we look at it in committee. But for 4-year review, we can comment or look at, review the whole course outline of record. So that's just helpful if you do that. This stuff should be already filled out for you for an existing course. Unlikely you're going to make a change there. These are the programs where your course is found in. So that's sometimes enlightening because I had no idea. The courses are in so many different programs. If it's an existing course, this has probably already been set up. But if it's a new course and you want Kalisha to submit for articulation and transferability, you can click those. Note that all 1 through 99 courses are transferable to CSU automatically. Maybe not articulated, they may not go course to course, but they will go over as an elective. Same with the GE. This has already been done for existing courses, but if you're wanting to ask for more GE, you can do that here. I'll skip through that. Again, units and hours are already set. So if you're making a change there, you can make it in these fields: lecture hours, lab hours. It calculates then the units. AJ and some others fire. You guys are special, so I know you know how to work with Kelly for your contact hours. But for regular lecture lab hours, this is pretty straightforward. But let us know if you have any questions or need to make a change there.
AJ is actually up for review, huh?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh, boy.
all 200 of you. Of course, is Fred here?
That's
Yes.
wonderful.
I am.
Thank you, Fred.
And I bet Fred's done it.
Yeah, I've got all mine, and we only have like 7 left that are under mics.
Okay, yeah. There are a lot of courses there.
So I have a question.
Sure.
If we want to ask for a new, if we want to ask for our history class to go into GE for humanities, an AFR type thing, do we do that on this page, or is that a separate process, or is it both?
It's both, I think. Yeah, I mean, you're coming through anyway, right?
Right.
Say if you weren't coming through, you could just do the AFR process. But you might as well do it here, but you're also going to have to do the paperwork for the AFR.
We just-
Okey-dokey.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paul, just do the AFR paperwork because we'll put it into the system once we have a decision made.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So for your 4-year review, don't, okay, just do the AFR. Okay. Thanks. Any other questions in these areas? No? Units, hours, all right, requisites. Okay, so this, well, my poor course hasn't come through. I will fix it right now. Well, I won't, because I'm going to be deleting this workflow, but this statement, if you see these on your courses, was imported from the old CurricuNet when we migrated over. And we put them down here on limitations on enrollment, and it was the eligibility for English 1A that we were requiring on all 1 through 99 courses as an advisory. Well, AB 705 has kind of changed that world. So eligibility for English 1A doesn't make any sense anymore, since all incoming students are eligible for English 1A with AB 705. So what we're asking courses to do is to decide whether they want to just make that advisory English 1A or just remove the English advisory. If that makes sense. And we're not going to have it in here anymore. So, I mean, I would delete this. One of us will be deleting it on your courses if you don't, but we're not going to use limitations on enrollment and that whole thing. So like, I'll delete it. And then I'll go, all the advisories should come up here. Advisories, prerequisites, co-requisites. And you have a drop down here. So like if I wanted to add an advisory of English 1A, I would hit advisory. I'm not sure. Oh, I have to add one. No, that's a prerequisite. Never mind. Let me go back. Sorry. Let me show you something else. A prerequisite already exists on my class. If this is the first time you're coming through with your courses in eLumen, your content review was not imported. And so we need you to do that here. And you just do it by going select objectives and outcomes, and it's going to pull up, hopefully, the objectives and outcomes from the Math 103. And we really only need, we usually just use objectives. This system happens to bring in the SLOs too, but we really just need the objectives. And you click the ones that are appropriate, you know, for your class, why this math class is a prerequisite. So I can throw a few in here. And then you just hit add, and the content review goes in this text box. So yes, all these courses that have never been through eLumen yet, please do your content reviews on all your existing requisites, including advisories. And that's all you have to do. Now I can try to add a requisite, and then I'll probably need help from Mylene Kelly. If I want to add a requisite, I'm going to add the advisory. Then you go to course. I'll put ENGL. Do I have to capitalize it? I don't know. Do I have to do it
Do
properly?
you happen to know if CurricuNet will be completing the content review when we?
Yeah, question. Doubtful, right? Have we gotten that far, Kelly?
Wait, no, well, we know we have, it's going to be on the same page, but other than that, we're not sure if we're going to import it.
Yeah. We don't know that yet.
Why isn't that working for you, Diane?
Because what else do I have to do?
Should be it.
Well, normally it'll pull up the English classes for you and you can pick English 1A. ENGL is the right code, right?
Yes.
But it's not. So hopefully it works. And then I would do the content review for it. Do you have to add the requisite before you can do the content review?
Yeah, because then it'll ask you for the
Yeah, I don't know why.
selected objectives.
It's Illumin, that's why. Yeah, then you would add, why we're leaving. Well, one of the many reasons. Add requisite and then the content review. So let us know if you have issues with that. I think, and I don't remember all this, when I added here, this is an and, this will put an and in between them, right? Know what I mean,
Correct.
Kelly? That'll be that and that. And if you want an or, then you hit the one, add group. You hit add group and that'll give you
Yes,
more.
and or,
We can
yeah.
help you through that. Yeah, if you need help with that. So we shouldn't have anything in entrance skills or limitations on enrollment when we're done with that. Methods of instruction. Again, we populated what we brought through from CurricuNet for you. There's these radio buttons. These were our choices in the old system. So we moved those over. You do not need, I probably have a rationale is not required for these methods. So you don't need to put anything in these text box if you don't want, but these are how you expect your faculty to deliver the material. And so, you know, one button per area. You can delete them, you can add. If you have other, you should probably put, yes, what other is. Assignments.
I'm
Oh, sorry, go
sorry.
ahead.
I missed that. I was looking at another
Okay.
page. So do we need to add the rationale with that method of instruction?
No, unless it's other, please specify.
Okay,
No.
Gotcha.
And I do have some of these little 3 dots populated. So assignments, Title V requires us to have reading, writing, and critical thinking assignments in every class, and it needs to be on the course outliner record. So you have to, because this system doesn't have those automatically populated, we have to type this in. So we did this for all the courses we imported. So whether you're doing a new course, you have to type these. That's what it says. Type that out, provide examples. We need examples. Doesn't have to be required work unless you want it required by all your faculty to do, but we at least need examples of how students are reading, writing, other, and the critical thinking statement.
And as I recall, you want it in that order.
Yes,
It stays in that order.
yes, that would be great. And I believe in CurricuNet, right, Kelly, we're getting this back on fields. So we won't have to type all this out. Methods of evaluation. Again, we imported this from the CurricuNet. Choose the appropriate button. I tell you in here that we're still considering substantial writing to be at least 25% of the course grade is assessed by writing. We would call that substantial writing. Per Title V, you need to have either substantial writing in your course or problem solving or skill demonstration. You have to show rigor in one or both of those areas, but at least one. So we did import what buttons were checked on CurricuNet. We do want something in here as examples. So I probably have that there. Provide examples for each method. So, you know, term paper, you know, short answer, whatever you can put in there, or you can change them. And then you can have more methods of instruction. So problem solving, I have computational in here with exams, non-computational problem solving. A lot of you might have skill demonstration you would check. You know, there's a radio button for skill down here somewhere. Hands-on, evidence, you can click those. We are changing this a bit in a new curriculum. Less options. We don't need this many options in the future. And then other testing and short answer, which I think most classes should have. When I come through, I'll be removing. Actually, I guess I'm not coming through, huh, Kelly, till we're in curriculum. We'll be removing some of that. Okay, so something in the box for methods of evaluation. You can edit these as you want. We don't use equipment. Textbooks are pretty easy in this system. You just click on the little fields here and you can change them. Just make sure you hit check mark for this one. As usual, if textbooks are going to be over 5 years old at the time you're coming through and there is no updated textbook, then, you know, like I'll use for this one, then put something like this next to it. We will have a button again in CurricuNet for Classic, but for this system, we need to type it in. Articulation needs to see that we are aware that the book is, you know, more than 5 years old. So put Classic next to ones that don't have updated texts. Otherwise, you can change all that. You can add textbooks. It's pretty easy in textbooks. You can put your OER in there if you like. You can put OER under other instructional materials as well, if you'd like to add an entry there. We don't use materials fee. Any questions so far?
Did I miss anything about how to say something is required or recommended for textbooks?
So it's always going to be assumed from here on out that these are recommended. If you do want a required textbook for your class, and put it in one of these fields for you, right? If you want to put, you know, caps required or something like that, that's fine. It's for you and your faculty to know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. These are your objectives. Paul, did you get all your objectives?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nylene.
Nylene.
Really, thank you.
Yeah, so they had a lot of objectives and wordy ones, and it got truncated on the migration. So
They were
They
not
don't-
wordy at all.
they weren't wordy at all.
They weren't.
They were just right. They don't automatically number in the system. So if you are adding, rearranging, deleting, you're going to need to renumber for us, please. And these are easy too. You just click on it. You can open up the box, make your edits, hit check. You can delete with the X. You can move their order with the arrows, but you need to reorder the numbers then, just for that. Same for the CSLOs, the Course Student Learning Outcomes. They don't automatically number, so if you're deleting or rearranging, make sure the numbers are redone. We're not using the SLM module, obviously, in Lumen, so don't worry. You don't really need to worry about any of this stuff over here. And then your course outline. This little guy right here makes it big. If you want to make some changes, we would like you to use this outlining function, this 1, 2 up here, so all of our outlines look the same. Don't cut and paste from some other source. It really makes it messy. You may make edits there. If there's lab, you need a lab outline. So click that if it hasn't already been done or you're adding a lab. And you need something in a lab outline. If you've been around a while, we used to do lab supports lecture or something like that. We actually, articulation needs to see what activities are doing in lab. So make an outline for that. And that's it, DE template, which will also be updated in the new system. We have a slightly revised template, but fill this out. Well, actually, sorry, all your 4-year, if you haven't come through the system yet, we did not import your DE. So we would like you to fill this out if you have. Does this course have prior approval? So a lot of you do, but it's not in the system yet. Yes. Separate box. If yes, list the format of all approved distance ed. This is for prior approval. I know this course has 100% online already. Are you requesting a new DE? So let's say I'm going to now request also 50% online, 50% face-to-face. You can do that. And then you fill out all these fields as it asks. Any questions on the DE? Go ahead, Paul.
If we requested permanent DE this fall, will we have to do that for all of our courses or in review?
A good question, Kelly.
I was gonna ask the same question.
That's a good question. We've got a lot of DE from this COVID stuff, right?
Yeah, so the people that did the permanent, yes, we would prefer that you go ahead and add the information in here.
That would be
Please.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that would. Go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, the goal will be then that we will transfer it into CurricuNet so that you won't have to redo it then. So if it's here, then we can just take that information and move it into CurricuNet when we move.
So that's good. Is that clear? If you asked for permanent DE through this last year on all the forms that we sent out, if you could fill that out in here, that would be great. The emergency DE, if you ask for that, do not fill out in here. That's going to be kept in a separate area, separate files, because it would only be used in times of emergency. And that's it. Very few of you have open entry, open exit. You probably know if you do, so you can leave that blank. And the rest is for Kelly. So you just can save as draft as you go along and work on this. And then you go to your inbox to reopen it up and keep working on it. Only hit submit when you're all finished. Deadline for curriculum is, I don't have a calendar on me, is what,
29th.
Kelly? January.
I think it's the 29th.
Fridays at the last Friday of the month,
Yes.
January 29th. Last Friday of this month is the deadline to get all the curriculum into the queue to be seen this semester. So when you think you're all good, you hit submit. And it's going to go to the next level. I'm not sure I want to submit. Did I submit 25 before? Kelly, when I did this?
No, it's at level 1 still.
Okay. I'm not going to hit submit on it because I'm going to delete these, but I will show you the workflow, the other workflow now. But are there any questions on the course outliner record?
You're going to go over how fellow faculty can look at what other faculty have done? Is that what's
Yeah.
coming up? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so when you hit submit, it goes to stage 2. Let me go back up to,
If you want the stuff, well, no, you can't do that.
I'm gonna go to my dashboard. Maybe.
Well, you can show them, if you're doing the dashboard, go ahead and use AJ because he's got stuff or if you want to do it as a curriculum.
Yeah, I
A different
submitted
role.
stuff
Oh, I see,
over
yeah.
9 days ago,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, Fred's got stuff at level 2.
You see how it's at level 2? Right. I was gonna also try to show, is it because where the view status is?
That's in the dashboard.
I am in the
Status.
dashboard.
No, you're in your inbox. Go to curriculum.
I'm gonna go specialist. Now we'll have lots of things. Yeah, so here's, stage 2, and we have 10 stages, but stage 7 is the first hearing of curriculum committee. So I'll show you on a different document, the workflow. And then we can view status on these stages to see who has done what, if anything. 27 parts pending means all these roles have not taken any action yet on these. So let me show you what that means. But the goal is to get to stage 7 so we can get on the curriculum committee's agenda. Let me go back to here to show you. Is that big enough for everybody? So stage 1 is where what we were working on, your propose or create, revise or create under faculty. Then when it goes to stage 2, when you hit submit, it goes to stage 2. And all these people will get, I should get an email from Illumin saying that they have curriculum to review. So at stage 2, the department chair gets access to review the department faculty, which you are, as well as faculty, and the division curriculum reps, because they should start reviewing for technical review to see if they can help clean up any little issues that they know will come up at committee. So a review means that these roles, you only review, and I can go back in and show you what that looks like. The division curriculum reps have edit capability. And then the faculty, which used to be department curriculum faculty, but hopefully you're using faculty. You also can still edit at this stage 2. The way this is set up though, is all faculty can edit. There's no limitation to just the originator in eLumen. So if you have a lot of faculty, like we'll take history, you guys have a fair amount of faculty in your discipline, then, you know, if Paul says, I'm going to revise these courses, try to work it out with your faculty that only you continue to revise the course, because any faculty can go in and edit it unless you work together on that. Same with department faculty. Not all department faculty get to review. I mean, all of them can see it. You can always see this stuff in the dashboard. But as far as doing the review function, only the first department faculty to do it and submit it as a review, they've done it for everybody. Okay. And so kind of the same with faculty. So it is confusing to try to, not have one of your department faculty use the faculty role, review and submit, and then Paul wants to go in and make a couple tweaks and he can't. It's been used up. So just inform your department faculty that only one of you has to do the review under department faculty. Now, if nobody does, you saw those parts pending I showed you, Kelly moves these through once we start going here in a couple weeks. She moves all this curriculum through every week. I mean, we're trying not to take 7 weeks for it to get to level 7. We'll never get through the curriculum, especially with AJ on there this time. We'll never get through. So we got to get these things moving through these steps. But I think you have about 5 days, right, Kelly? A week. I think on the weekends,
Yeah.
she's moving, whether you did anything or not, it's moving to the next stage. So department chair has the opportunity to review, although again, your department can always see this curriculum in the dashboard. I'll go back and show you in a minute, at any stage. Technical review is the next level. This is when the articulation officer is going to look and see if you've requested something new for transfer or GE. Again, the division curriculum reps, we have a couple here today, still have the ability to edit and review and to work with the faculty on cleaning up the submission. And then again, faculty, you have another week here to make changes if you've thought of something or was given feedback from your chair or your curriculum rep. Then it's going to go to stage 4, and this is where the division dean can look at it. The other campuses deans can look at it. Then it goes to stage 5, which is where Kelly really looks at it more closely. And then we put faculty back on this level too. So if you want to continue to make some edits, or we've mentioned something at level 5, you have the ability to edit still. Level 6 is vice president of instruction, and then finally first hearing. At first hearing, we gave faculty the ability to edit again. So there are changes to be made. Division curriculum reps, again, can edit at this level. I've got a note there, don't submit level 7 until you've gotten to the committee. Because if you do it ahead of time and you come to committee and we say, let's change this, change that, you don't have the ability to do it anymore because you already did it. So save level 7 for the first hearing. And then it goes level 8. And after that, it's just you know, Kelly and myself who can make any changes, and then ECPC, and then finally the Board of Trustees. So that's where it's going once you hit submit. And why you're going to see in your emails all these prompts to do something with curriculum. Because you can see faculty is on many roles. And let me go back to a dashboard here. What was I going to show you? Kelly, I can do a review on one of these. Yeah, I can. Huh? You look for, because I'm a specialist right now. So if you were going to do a review and your role would be department faculty probably, or department chair, then you will see the workflow. Wait, I don't know. Kelly, help me out what I'm doing here. 'Cause I don't know.
So yeah, if you're gonna doing the review, it's in the inbox.
Oh, I have to go in the inbox.
Yes.
Oh,
You-
okay.
So you can edit from the dashboard, but if you're taking your action as review, you have to go in through your inbox.
All right, good to know. If you're going to take action as a review, inbox. Okay, so I'll go review on this just so you can see what it looks like. I happen to have edit capabilities, which is why I have a live edit button, but you won't as department faculty. You will as faculty have an edit function, but not as department faculty or department chair or division dean. None of those have a live edit. They will just have this review. And I think you can do it box by box. You can say I reviewed it, turns green. Or I believe you can scroll to the bottom
Should
when
be
you're
able to
done
yeah.
and just say review all. I don't have my bars. You guys are in my way of my, there we go. My scrolls. Review all. We'll turn it all those areas green too. Okay, so if one department faculty is really on top of it and does this review and then hits, sorry, I'm gonna make you all dizzy, I know, hit submit, then that role has been taken. But you can still, as department faculty or faculty, you can still view it in, sorry, you guys are all in my way, in the dashboard. I go back to, faculty. So I have a couple things that I've started here in these trainings in my dashboard. And so you can always go in and look at what's going on.
And in this area, you can also view it with a change report if you want. And there is some strike through and green and red wording. If you make changes, probably, did you change?
Yeah.
So you changed your term. So if you made a change, you can see it easily from one side to the other, what was changed. So if you want to see what, Paul, you want to see what Brian put into the system, you go to the change report and it's a really nice view. You do not have that. I don't believe you have that in your inbox.
Okay, that's just dashboard. Is that new that they added that?
Now we've had this report for a while. They've cleaned it up quite a bit.
The report's much better.
So just to be sure, this is on dashboard.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the dashboard, you will always be able to view what's going on in your department. And your actions are over here. The only thing you can't do is review it or edit. You have to go to your inbox to do that. So you can view the workflow, the status, course outline and record, change report, impact report is where this course shows up. Any questions? No? So that's a course. The other thing you need to revise are your programs. So similar to start, you need to go to the library to find it. Again, I'll try it this way. See what shows up. Oh, whoops, sorry, my
You
bad.
need to go
You need to
check,
hit
yeah.
you need to hit program. It's very light gray. Click it, new revision, show history, view the program outline report. We should go there first. You should look at your course outline reports too when you're done to make sure that they look the way you want them to look, the pretty version that goes out to the public site. So that's what the report, that's what it looks like. So to go into the revision, then I would click, you got to start over. It does not hold a search, by the way. Annoying feature. New revision. Oh, I've already got one. Can't do that one. I don't think I have. Do I have rights on this one? Oh, we'll do that one. I don't know what that, oh, it's deleted. Well, at least I can show you the screen. I just want to show you if I can get through this screen. You do that. Here we go. We want rules-based, right, Kelly? You want rules-based,
Yes,
not pathway-based.
yes.
Pathway-based will force you to sequence your courses, and we're not doing that through Elumen right now. So it won't let you bypass that feature. So you do rule-based. So that's what I wanted to show you there. I'm not going to launch this one. I'm going to go into my existing, apparently I have an econ. There it is, because I did this in another training. So I've already started the revision. I'm going to go, oh, do I have to go to my inbox? Probably, yes.
Yes.
See how often I will do. Okay, outline view.
So that is a difference in program. If you, to edit the program, you have to be in your inbox.
Okay,
You cannot be in your
course.
dash,
okay,
because so for course, you can edit from the dashboard or your inbox. But for program, you can only edit from your inbox.
okay. All right, so this stuff should already be filled out for you. If you want to make changes to your description, you can just do that in here. Again, start date needs to be a year out. They don't have mandatory revision here. So I would put it here. Review for us. This works very different than course. So just let us know if you need help. But how it works, especially if you're creating a new one, is you have to import all the courses you want on this side of the page. And then you need to move them over here and create a program on the right-hand side of the page. So this is the actual degree. So we can help you if you need to make some changes or you're starting a new one. That it comes from here to here.
So
How do we
I
move
know
them over? Sorry, Kelly.
I wanted to clarify one thing first, Kevin, and then I'll answer your question. If you're doing a title change or a unit change or a subject number change, it will not be reflected in here coming in from course until after I approve it. So I know that history is going to have at least one title change. So when you have that history class in this list, it's going to retain the old title until I push it through the process, and then I will have to go in and correct it. So
yeah,
that was a.
Yeah. So they'll make notes. You guys, Kelly and I, they make notes up here to do that. So they have to go back in and manually change everything after the fact.
So Kevin, if you were wanting to add a course, you'd have to select it on
At
the
bottom.
left side, Diane. Just
Yeah.
pick
Choose
something.
two of the following courses. So I hit select a course over here on the left-hand side. Right? And we'll
Yeah.
add mural painting. That would be fun.
And then add course. Yeah. Add course. So it went up there. So now you're going to go and edit the rule on the right side.
I'm going to add it into choose two of the following. So I'm going to edit rule.
And it will go to the bottom of the page, regardless of which block it is, just so you know. Now, you have to go back up to the left side, Diane,
Okay.
and click on the box, the check box next to Art 25. Now scroll all the way back down.
Okay.
Unless you remember to do that first, and
Which I did.
once you hit, go back down.
Okay.
And then you can hit see where it's bright blue, add course here. That's what you hit. And then it's going to add it into the block as an and or an or. You can select which one you want. If it's an and or an or. And then you hit done to save it. It's very clunky.
Yes. Yes. It'll be so much nicer back in our new old system. So there it is. Oh, and the or, I didn't offset it right. Yeah. I did something. If we didn't we had to add a rule, not add a course.
Yeah, so
I had to add the rule and the or would be over here.
Yeah.
But that's why, yeah, it's confusing. Everything has to be imported over here and then moved over here.
So sometimes it's easier for us to make a note or you to make a note or on the left side in the header saying we need to add course, whatever it is, and make it an and or an or, give us instructions in that header.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we just have two courses that are standalone that'll be moved into a degree pattern.
Then if it's probably just one of the electives, then you're just going to add them. It'll be easy.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Learning outcomes at PSLOs are already there from before. If you want to make any changes there, again, you just click on it and it changes. You can add a new PSLO, Program Student Learning Outcome. The narrative is only for new degrees or certificates that have to go through the Chancellor's office. So something new, you want to follow these directions. Not all program types complete all of them. I have it's all program types must complete. That means any kind of degree or certificate of achievement. Anything that's going to go to Chancellor's office and be transcripted needs to do a narrative, but all the existing ones do not. So just let us know if you have questions, because I know the program feature module is clunky here. All right, questions?
There was a button saying aligning PSLOs. Do we fiddle with
Oh yeah,
that?
well, we've kind of forgotten all about that. We were doing those, we were trying to be real good because this was where we were mapping the program's student learning outcomes to the course or the course to the program, right? We haven't been doing that for a year. We haven't been mapping anything. So yeah. I don't think it matters now, right, Kelly? Because we don't have the SLO module up. It's not on. So
Yeah, I don't know if it even will work, if it'll
Yeah,
work or not
it's not
anymore.
gonna-
I wouldn't worry about it now. Once we get working in Curricunet and get SLO module up there, then you guys can just go in and do your mapping.
yeah, that'll be a while. So don't worry about that. Okay, what else do you need to know or need help with?
Could you possibly just briefly explain how to do a certificate, how to start it?
A new one
Yeah, like a certificate of completion, I think it's called, right?
for non-credit?
Yes.
Okay, I can try. I'm sure I'm going to need Kelly and Eileen to. Move me through that. Okay, so let's go to,
For you, I would say go ahead and be a specialist so
okay,
that you have more flexibility. So we might as well pull up EMLS, right? Is it what we're creating an EMLS certificate of completion?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and select EMLS at the top, Diane, as curriculum specialist in EMLS.
find them in humanities.
Mhm.
EML or EML? Okay.
And then go to program
Program.
and then new program. And then you're going to do, oh shoot.
Why does it have?
Because we're curriculum specialists, we don't have this. So
Oh,
otherwise, I guess you can create a new one for econ.
that's what I was, okay.
Yeah,
Let me show you-
sorry.
Show you one for econ, we'll create something. Oh, I have to go to the library. Program. Okay, I can just hit new program right there.
Yes.
New program proposal. Click on that, rural-based. And then you start filling these things in. All right.
So what do you call it?
Well, what would,
Is there like a template name or each one's different?
Each one's different, so I don't know what you're putting together. I mean, because I know you have listening and speaking versus reading and writing. So I don't know, it would be whatever.
But doesn't it have to have a specific number of units in it?
Not for non-credit has no units.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter how many courses you have or don't have, it still meets the criteria.
For a
Okay.
certificate of completion, and you have to have at least 2.
Okay, at least 2. Okay.
so
So-
for non-credit certificate of completion, at least
So-
2. But for everybody, if you want to know, certificate of achievement is a transcripted certificate and it needs to have at least 16?
At 16, it's required to go to the state.
At 16, if your certificate is 16 units or more, it is a certificate of achievement and is required to go to the state. You fill out the narrative. If it's less than 16, it will be a certificate, also known, right?
But you can also do a low unit certificate of achievement.
Right. Yeah, I'll get there. Okay. So a certificate is not transcripted, does not go to the state. Students don't get financial aid for it. We tend to call these our low unit certificates. That's called a certificate, and that's 16 or less units. Or you have the option of making it's 8 to 15 and a half units.
Yes.
You have an option of making your certificate that is 8 to 15, anywhere from 8 to 15 and a half units, a certificate of achievement if you want, by filling out all the paperwork and the narrative and doing that. But if it is 16, your certificate is 16 or more, it has to be a certificate of achievement. A certificate of completion is a non-credit certificate, like Kelly said, at least 2 courses in there to make a certificate.
And then basic skills.
And basic.
Oh, wait, I'm sure. Sorry. It's a certificate of competency is what for basic skills.
And we don't really have those anymore.
Which is EMLS. It's considered.
Oh,
basic
EMLS is still certificate of competency? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
unless it's non-credit, then it's certificate of completion.
No, if it is non-credit certificate of competency, if it's in English, math, or EMLS. for
Oh,
basic
okay.
Skills.
Okay, so did you guys get that in EMLS? It's competency, not completion.
Okay,
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Okay. Now, top codes, if you can find it easily, you can put it in. Otherwise, Kelly will take care of it. So if is there an EMLS top code? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the 49, so it's gonna be
Yeah,
like
she knows it.
49,
So either you or,
87.
yeah, you can scroll down and find a top code. If not, Kelly will do it. for you guys is,
Keep scrolling, non-credits at the bottom. So now it's based on hours. So it's how many hours are in each course. So the total. So if there's 72 hours, it's 4 hours per week. It's 72 hours, and there's 2 of them. Then
okay,
44.
so that'll have to be calculated.
So two is the minimum, but it could be 3, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. It could be as many courses as you want, but a minimum of 2.
Okay. And does it appear on their transcript?
It will if once it's approved by the state chancellor's office.
Okay.
Don't worry about transferability, description, in a year out for the term, and then you would move across these tabs to fill in the course blocks, which is what I was kind of showing you. You have to add all the courses on the left-hand side and then create your certificate on the right-hand side. We're not doing sequences in here. Your learning outcomes we'd have to put in there. And then they would have to do a narrative, right?
Yes.
Then you'd have to do this narrative for that certificate.
And the narrative is what, justifying it or it's describing it or?
There's all kinds of things. You're gonna
Okay.
need, I don't know what competency, I mean, you're gonna need your goals and objectives can come right off. You can use your objectives and your SLOs. Catalog description is what you've already put up there. But the master planning needs to be done. All of this, huh, Kelly? Labor market, not for competence.
Not labor market, but the rest of the questions have to be answered.
Okay. All non-AED. So only CTE programs are right. So you won't have to do number 7 for that, but the rest of them would have to be done.
Okay, and I'm sorry, can I just add, what did you say you're supposed to call it? What name do you give it? Or you can come on,
Certificate of competency.
but I mean, does it have to have a separate name besides that, or
Yeah, you need a
Yes.
program title.
it's the program title? Okay,
It's whatever you think best describes the program.
okay. Does it go through the same approval process, all those steps as everything else does?
Yes,
Okay,
mostly. I'm not sure how program is working in the workflow process, Kelly. I don't know where I know we've had some trouble with that. I don't know where it's supposed to go through those steps.
thank you.
Anything else? Specific questions? You guys are awfully quiet.
I don't have a question.
You're good?
I have a question, Diane.
Sure.
Because I'm back teaching live, but I'm still having to do my lecture on Zoom. I'm 5 hours live, 1 hour Zoom. What do I do on my ratio or percentage on the DE? So it's asking what you're you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Down
but
in
you
the
have to
DE
pick-
section, it's asking what my percentage is.
Is this a permanent thing you're going to keep?
No, it's just a COVID thing.
Then Kelly, we already have a DE addenda for that.
Yeah, we had the emergency.
So we don't want you to put that in the system then.
Okay,
Only
So
if
leave
it's
the-
permanent.
just leave the DE blank.
Yes, only
Okay.
fill out that DE addendum on the course outline record if you have permanent
Okay,
modality that way. Yeah, that'll be easy, right?
okay, thanks.
Yeah. What else? Kelly, what else should I show?
I think we covered everything. How
Hey, Diane,
Yes.
I think they only, just so they know it, after stage 2, they can't make any changes to it until it goes to, I think, the last stage before presentation. Is that correct?
No.
No, there was more. So faculty have edit rights at stage 2, stage
Right.
3,
Okay.
5 and
5, and then 7 at first hearing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So, right, just make sure you get the submissions in by the deadline. And even if you still have a few more things you need to do, at least get it submitted into the queue. So we can start forming agendas and all. And then go in and keep working on it if you have to. No, any questions on the review roles? Or again, if you don't do it, it's fine because Kelly's going to move these forward. I don't think we've probably hardly ever had a case where all the roles were completed in time, right, Kelly?
Well, we won't because the curriculum chair
Because I'm there. And I
is on the, and you don't, and I'm not going to take the action twice. So
They're going to remove me from this workflow. Yeah. So yeah, we put Kelly and I on every single level at the beginning. Well, when we did this to see how it works, and I never look at that inbox. You've seen our inbox. How many do we have in our inbox now? Hundreds.
there's only like 100 and something right now.
Diane?
Yeah.
Could you go back into the library and help just show Rico how to look up the industrial, I think it's the industrial technology AS degree. So
Okay.
that he can make an edit to it.
Oh, okay. I do it as my faculty. What's
Type in industrial. Okay, now scroll down. There's going to be
Yeah, it's
that one.
okay? So do you see what I did? I went to library, and then program,
It's not like poo.
and then put into industrial over there.
Or if you know now that the major number is 8992, it's easy. Sometimes it's easier just to put the major number in because it'll give you the only. And if you put it in the title, if you only put in 8992, that's the only one that will come up.
Good. And then you would do new revision to start a revision.
I didn't
Or
think
if you
you're
just want-
supposed to give that to you because you're in economics, but okay.
I know, you don't see this. This is another flaw. I should not be able to revise as a faculty, as curriculum specialist possibly, but not as a faculty in economics. Should I be able to revise your program? But there we go. So we're pretty good. Nobody do anybody else's program. Or you can view, also your program outline. What it looks like now.
Okay, so I can just go into new revision then on that.
Yes.
That brings up a bunch of new little windows.
The first one should have like a gray block in the corner or in the middle that you would click on.
Yeah, and then it's a pathways program or rule based.
Rural based. Always choose rules based.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions? Specific questions? Guess we didn't need all this time today, huh?
Could you just clarify if a new course is going in for transfer credit? When it gets to the specialist, what happens there? How does it get approved there?
What do you, so be more specific.
Well, if we develop a new course and put it through for transfer credit, I know it has to go to the officer. I mean, how does it get the approval? You said it will automatically, if it's a 1 to 99, will automatically go over as an elective?
To CSU.
Yes.
But the course has to go through this whole process with the curriculum committee and then the board of trustees before it's approved here.
Okay. So it just needs to be done as normal and put into the system. And then from there, it goes through an approval process.
Yes.
And
This is a
it may
new
or may
course?
not, it may or may not be approved. Is that?
Okay, locally, the curriculum committee. We approve all the curriculum for the campus.
Right.
Most all of it's approved usually, yes, there's some exceptions. But we look at it and approve it, and then it goes to the board of trustees. And it's on consent there, so it's approved after it goes through our district committee, curriculum committee. The ECPC is our district body that looks at each other's curriculum. And then it doesn't always go to the state anymore, but it won't be effective until that date. Remember?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it should be a year out from when you're bringing it through. Except in some cases, we can do it a semester later. So what the proposal start date, that's when it's going to be on our books, basically,
Okay.
and able for students to take. Does that answer your question?
It's more, the question is more like, would it get the approval or not? Because it's a class that didn't previously have elective credit, but does at Reedley and Madeira. And so we're wanting to put it through, but I'm just not sure, you know, what are the steps that get it to the actual being approved for transfer credit part?
A 1 through 99 course, the CSU will automatically take those units as electives.
Okay.
Now, if there's a course there that it can be articulated with course to course, then that will happen through our articulation officer. And perhaps a student gets actual course to course credit for it.
Okay.
But a lot of times it's just transfer electives. They'll take the units. So is that what you mean?
Yes, sort of. Well, you know, we're trying to do the 180 level as the transfer as Reedley and Madeira have theirs, but it doesn't have that kind of approval right now. So we're going to put it through, but I'm just curious as to what exactly, you know, would be a hang up. What would,
So
yeah.
I can, okay, so one thing that could be a hang up is the curriculum committee, when we see a new 1 through 99 course, it needs to be what we consider baccalaureate level. It needs to have the rigor of a, you know, four-year university course.
Okay, right.
So it could be hung up with us if we're like, this looks more like a, you know, non-transferable course. But once we approve it in the 1 through 99 series, then it will transfer to CSU. They pretty much just trust us that we're not sending up non-baccalaureate level courses.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Anything else? Do you want me to put it, you want me to stop share and put it on all of us? You can ask us questions. Let's see everybody. Well, thanks, Nylene. I'm looking at the chat. She's managing. Now I can see you all. Hey, hey. Anything else we can help you with while we've got all this time? Or you want to work on your, are you working on your screens? Okay. Okay, do you want to go? You Want your afternoon back? Hi, Bruce.
Yeah.
Want chit chat?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, we're good? Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for coming and let us know. Again, Kelly, Nylene, myself. Feel free to email us. All three is great. Let us know if you have any questions. And we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right,
Thanks.
bye. Thank you, interpreters.
No problem. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks. Too.
Okay. Charles, you have a question? Leslie, Charles, Agnes. I suppose that's a no. Well, that didn't take long, huh?
Yeah, Leslie and Agnes are both part-time, so they may have wandered off and not realized they were
Okay.
come on.
Well, let's see.
I can remove.
No,
I
I'm
just-
still here.
You
Oh,
still-
okay.
Hi, Leslie.
I just have been chasing my tail trying to figure out what you're doing. I never quite caught it.
Okay, so what do you need to do? You're full-time, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well then,
That's the problem, I guess.
part-time in what discipline?
Nursing.
Oh, okay. Did they tell you to come?
Nobody told me to come. I
Okay,
just
okay.
picked something I thought would be interesting.
Well, yeah, like I said at the beginning, right? You won't be able to do all that I just showed.
Yeah, so I've just kind of been listening along, but and trying to figure it out, but I just barely figured out how to get to the Illumin part. But I've looked at that before. I just couldn't remember how to get back to it. And at first when I logged onto it, it said it was unauthorized. And then if I went down one, it let me back in. So
Well, you need to go to the public site.
yeah, I did.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you won't be able to get into the production site.
yeah, I was just trying to learn something to give me some helpful hints for trying to figure out what I'm doing. Which is
Well, for teaching, for teaching or for creating new curriculum?
well, I wanted to learn both. I wanted to learn it how to do it. And
Yeah, you won't be able, it's just a,
yeah, this probably wasn't a good choice. So
yeah, but as long as you know how to get to the public site, you can look at your course outlines, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And then if you want to create something new, you just have to work with the full-time faculty.
Yeah, I've got 2 full-time faculty that I work with, but I just, like I said, I thought this looked kind of interesting. It was way over my head and something I didn't really know how to deal with. So
Okay.
thank you though for
All right.
your time.
All right. Bye. And Charles, is he still here? I just removed Leslie. Charles? Okay, I'm removing him. There we go. So we can stop. Oh, you're muted.
Stop the recording.